Hey everyone, Eddie Head here, President of World Ventures Holdings, with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Josh Payne, CEO World Ventures and CEO of Rovia. We wanted to spend a few minutes with you guys addressing some of the questions that have come about over the past few weeks from our Asia leaders. We have a long list here, and a lot to cover, so why don't we get started, Josh?
This is just for you. We wanted just to give you a little bit of love, tell you a little bit about what's going on here, and this is an anticipation for what you're about to see in Momentum. So if you're not registered for Penang, find a way to get there, meet a new friend, show up, because you're going to want to catch everything we're going to share with you in Momentum.
That's right. We're both going to be there,
Yeah,
and we're going to be there with, in tow with a lot of leaders, and we got a lot to share with you guys from stage. But this is a preview.
All right, just preview. All right, go for it.
All right. So, Josh, what are the pillars to success for World Ventures in Asia in 2018? In fact, globally, what are the pillars to success?
Yeah, so when I think about this year, I think about three things, right? And the first is about building a world-class product. It's extremely important that we deliver what we do with excellence, right? And so whether that's Dream Trips, dreamtrips.com, and everything we deliver to you on that portal, that's going to be improving. I know we have some questions later, so I won't get into the details on dreamtrips.com yet, but improving our core product and seeing us expand our Dream Trips local offering. So as you go out to your normal and favorite dining restaurants, you're able to get points and earn those as well. It's about expanding our Dream Trips rewards platform. And then, lastly, it's about making sure that we have the Dream Breaks and even the new launch of Dream Body, dare I say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot coming for you this year, and it's important to me that it's a world-class product offering. And so you're going to continue to see enhancements in those core products. In addition to that, it's really about building a scalable and sustainable business. And so if you've heard me talk a lot, you see me do the leadership model, right? And it's about functional and foundational. And a lot of what we're doing this year is building scalable foundations. We're going to talk more specifically about what that looks like in Asia to better support your region here in just a couple of moments. And then, the last piece is expanding our reach. We've talked about the importance of expanding our business model. And as you know, we're a global company, but there's so much more we can do. And so we've actually created a dedicated team back here at the home office that extends globally, that is laser focused on expanding into new markets. And many of those new markets are right in your region. There are countries that we'll share with you on stage when we're there with you in Penang here in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, we need to know that we have a dedicated team focused on it with an explicit budget just for launching new markets. Because you know why? That's good for us, and it's good for you and good for your business.
Yeah, it's actually called the Global Expansion Team, and it's being assembled as we speak, guys. We are going to tell you a lot about this, and we're going to cover specifically some of the countries that we know are of interest to you guys.
That's right. That's right. So, Eddie, there was a great question that came in. It said, tell us more about the company's commitment to Asia. So we've been in Asia now for a few years, and yet there's more that we can do in Asia. Will you talk a little bit about that?
I will. So we are getting some of these questions directly from you. So they're addressing what we know are outstanding challenges or your interest in serving the business better from the home office. I would say that in a nutshell, the way that we're going to do it is to bring the business operations to you. We're going to try to localize our operations in a way that actually speaks the rep's voice and the customer's voice far more accurately than before, far more comprehensively than before. From marketing to promotions to communication, even what we're doing with technology, what we're doing with the business is going to speak your language. It's going to speak to you the needs and the aspirations you have for product and the opportunity very uniquely. So that's a big difference. That in and of itself is something we've never done before. Yeah. We've essentially run all of our regions of the world from Plano, Texas. That's right. Although we have country managers and we have general managers of regions of the world, we've never actually had the ability to not only empower them, but to operationalize the business the way that we were focusing on doing it this year. That's a fundamental difference. And the commitment to Asia is probably the highest of any region in the world from a development perspective, because we believe that it represents one of the largest opportunities for growth in World Ventures history.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
it's massive. It's massive for us.
Okay, so actually, you want to let's do this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So Josh, another question that came up said, what about the Taiwan status specifically? We need the app and we need new Taiwan dollar supported. So we actually received some updates this week. What I understand is that NTD is ready to go live, and it's going to be available for use in the shopping cart within about a week.
That's right.
Now, this is a manual process on our end. What we're hoping, though, is that from an experience perspective, you see very little difference between the way you shop today and the way you shop tomorrow, except that you'll be able to pay in NTD. That's the big difference. Now, there's going to be a fully automated version of this process, which, again, we hope is entirely seamless for you and doesn't change the experience for your customers. And that will be shortly behind the launch of this manual process for us. What that also does for us, though, is enable the ability for us to use local currency in virtually any market on the planet. So the work that we're doing to support Taiwan is going to be applicable to Hong Kong, to Malaysia, to Singapore, to any of the countries in Europe, but one country at a time, starting with Taiwan. So that's coming next.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I just can't underscore the importance of that. A big part of what we're trying to accomplish this year is to reduce the friction of what it takes to run your business. Right. And so one of the friction points we know is that you are in a country that doesn't speak U.S. and we're asking you to talk to us in English, and we're asking you to transact in U.S. dollars, and we're asking you to not adopt the local payment currencies. And so we're going to fix that this year. That's a big part. And so what we're doing in Taiwan is just the tip of the spear, because we're going to roll those solutions out globally so that we're transacting in euros in Germany. We're speaking German in Germany. We're on the Maestro network in Germany. Not to pick on Germany, but I'm picking on Germany.
Yeah, so that's a great example of more work that we need to do to localize. So
Correct.
Although we are doing this in Taiwan, we're focusing our efforts on globalizing our business all across the planet and all of the markets that we have. And it just so happens that it's timely that we're doing all of this work to deliver to you guys in the next few weeks, applicable to Asia.
Yes.
In addition to that, we have
well,
questions.
it builds credibility. I'm sorry, but it builds credibility for your business, right? When you're telling a great opportunity to someone else, and they go, well, "Wait a minute, it's a great opportunity, but you're not speaking my language and
Right.
using local payment, it's incongruent. It doesn't make sense." And so you have our commitment to get that fixed for you. We have teams dedicated right now working on building those solutions. So
that's great.
I won't interrupt anymore.
No problem. So the app, lots of questions about that. When is it going live? It's going to be in production, in a production environment, meaning that it's going to be ready for use by you within the next couple of weeks, and we will push it to the app stores at that time. Now, we can't predict how long it's going to take for the app stores to approve it for download for you, but it's just a few weeks away. We're almost done with it, and the team is very excited about this first version of it. It's going to fold in all of the local events that you have in Taiwan into the app environment. Now, it's basically a web page that we're encapsulating in the app, and you'll have access to all of the representative support tools and everything that is around Dream Trips, but you will not be able to book Dream Trips because Dream Trips aren't bookable within Taiwan. But otherwise, you'll have the first version of a fully functional app that will support your local customers and your business.
That's right. That's right. Very exciting.
Okay. Josh, one of the questions that came up was about investments. What can you tell us about the way in which we're investing into Asia specifically this year that's different from years past?
Yeah, so I guess that's on a couple of different levels. The first is that we have dedicated teams now focused on the region. So, it's great that we have a large office here in Plano, Texas, and then we can support our globe. And there's many things that we don't want to duplicate across the world. But you have to be able to run your business locally. They need local P&L support. They need the ability to manage their region and differentiate the product. So, there's a core of Dream Trips, for example, that is true anywhere you go, and it needs to be true. But that's probably 80% of it. 20% of it is just, what do you need locally that makes a difference? So, color parties, that's meaningful in our area. Okay, great, then done. We're going to do that for you. The other part is, so we have a dedicated team, a dedicated focus, and last thing, dedicated dollars. Because you can talk all day long, but if you don't have dedicated dollars, and I have done a specific capital raise for supporting your region, and I'm really excited about it.
Millions of dollars, in fact.
In fact, yeah, millions of dollars dedicated towards opening new markets and supporting your region. So that's weeks away, and I'm very, very excited about closing
me
that.
too, and even going back to some of the earlier conversation we had about the way in which we're actually going to commit to Asia. From a resourcing perspective, some of what we're going to be doing this year is made possible by that kind of capital raise and the budgeting exercise. For instance, one of the things that we're doing that's different that we're going to allocate resources towards is supporting these emerging markets. So although we are pursuing opening Japan, we are pursuing opening South Korea, we're pursuing opening Indonesia, the Philippines will be live within less than 2 months, just a few weeks in fact. Right now, they don't have specific dedicated market managers, but even prior to their launch, there's a need to have support in the area to understand the dynamics there.
That's right.
What's working for our prospective customers? What do we think the people who want to be in the business there would want to support it as we launch those countries? We're going to dedicate resources in that way too, another way in which we're actually doing things differently with the budget we have.
That's exactly right.
Okay, another question that came up for you, all right? Dream Trips. They've been somewhat hit and miss in quality and in value, Josh. What's being done to address this for the Asian market?
So there's something, again, I come into companies at a certain stage and help unlock growth and get to the next level. And so there are things that are common and true in many companies. And this is no different. When a company tries to grow and scale really fast, sometimes what it ends up doing is it ends up creating vanilla. It ends up making everything so
homogenized,
so consistent, because that's how you go fast.
Right.
And that And again, that may be okay for 80%, but 20% makes all the difference in the world. And so what we've done is with new teams, with new procurement methods, with new partners, we've gone out there and said, okay, let's keep the core of our dream trips consistent, but man, let's make these truly unique experiences. So that's kind of part of it. The other part of it, it has to be a unique experience, but the price has got to be there. And so we have new ways in our new partnerships to continue to buy better and better and better. In fact, we've just raised the bar where we're no longer contracting below a certain bar. We won't even accept it. And so why that's important for us is that directly translates to the price that you pay. So
Sure.
it's extremely important to me that you get yes value and unique experiences. You got to have both of those things.
You know, I want to brag on you guys for a minute too, because you know, when you and Jim took over this as one of the primary exercises of improving the product portfolio for you as our customers and your customers as reps, you focused on building the right team, like you said, changing the procurement strategy, and you demanded results very, very quickly, and you got them. One of the things that they don't talk about a lot, that we do talk about with some of our leaders, though, specifically, is how much that's improved. I would like you to at least brag a little bit about that. I mean, we're talking about something, it's more than double the savings that we've been able to ink out of these deals now, thanks to those efforts.
Well, so, you know, at the beginning, you know, towards the end of last year, a little bit less than a year ago, we were buying very consistently around 10 to 20% below best available rate. Okay, so okay, but that isn't how you do excellence. So we changed that process, put a new team in, and are now consistently buying in the 30 to 70% below best available rate. In fact,
amazing.
They're in the U.S. They're not able to bring me a contract for signature under 38% below best available rate. That's a minimum.
That's
you
great.
have to hit that threshold. And so one thing that's a little bit unique about our business is that between when you're buying and then when you're building the trip and you're making it available for sale and then people travel, there's that delay. And
Pricing changes.
And well, yeah, so pricing's changed, but also a lot of times what you're experiencing today is what took place 8 months ago.
Sure.
And so I guess what I'm suggesting
yes.
is that it gets better, and because of the work that's been done already, I already know, because I've seen how we contract.
Sure.
The prices are getting better and better and better, even though our customers haven't fully experienced it, because it's not
Still in the pipeline.
well, it's in the pipeline. It's not just when you buy that you experience when you go.
Sure.
Because, you know, if this phone cost $1 or $5, you don't know until you try to use it and say it's worth $1, worth $5. So I'm excited about people that are traveling now that are going to begin to experience the improvements in our Dream Trips process and the improvements in the Dream Trips value, because that's really what we have to have, is the best possible value in our Dream Trips.
That's great. So it sounds to me like it's a story of great expectations yet to come for Dream Trips. As good as it is, and as it is improving, it's going to be even better in the near term.
Good is only good. I like great.
We want great. We want great.
I want great. So I have a question for you,
Okay,
Eddie.
all
So
right.
there's been a number of questions that came in terms of the executive status program, and for those that have been qualified, and what happens to those points, and are they going to be frozen? Can you speak a little bit about that executive
I can.
status?
So we have a strategy to relaunch the executive program, and getting the Dream Trips rewards platform up and running was one of the fundamental hurdles that we had to overcome.
That's right.
But there were some technology hurdles as well along the way. We needed to solve some of the problems that were very basic. You know, how do we make sure that those who are within a household and covered by a membership are those who are able to take the trips? That at the last minute, a name couldn't be changed on a trip or have the trip sold to somebody who's not a member and they be able to take the trip. These were some of the things that were costing us millions of dollars a month. And it's why we had to freeze the program. Well, many of those have been addressed, and we have some exciting updates to share with you guys at the next two major events. We're hoping that we can relaunch this program, let's say by end of the first quarter. But we're not entirely certain yet, but we're going to keep you informed. The bottom line is that it's right around the corner. In the meantime, know this: your points are protected, your status is protected, and in fact, you can still attain executive status. So if you do so, well, you're going to be frozen in time, essentially, with that executive status and still have access to all of the benefits when we relaunch here very, very soon.
That's right.
Cool.
That's right. Not taking away any benefits, just making sure it's done.
That's exactly
and done
right.
Again,
But-
it's about that foundation. You got to build the foundation solid, and we had to take out some of the games that were being done.
Yeah, and it was very costly, so you know, we have to get it right. It's got to be scalable. It's got to be sustainable. Let's go back to travel for a second.
Sure.
One of the questions that keeps coming up over and over again is, when is the new OTA booking engine going to be available?
Yeah, well, so let me address a few things here. Number one, so there is a new look and feel coming out, and that's coming out at the end of this quarter. That's exciting for me because it communicates value. part of it is the imagery, right? So images sell, and you'll be able to use that to build your business better. And it's very clear. Pricing is super clear on it. But also, speaking of pricing, we're doing a better job on this new one of showing the value, right? And so sometimes, again, it's not just about what's done, it's how it's done. And so we're going to show you in this new user experience the value of Dream Trips a lot better. It's going to have more captivating imagery that really pulls you in. And then we're also turning on, so there's been more of a delay than I like. I'm not a patient person. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not patient. And we're about to turn on 3 new suppliers that will feed our OTA. They're going to deliver more value in the OTA experience than anything you've seen before.
That's fantastic news.
Significantly better rates on just your so in the next 30 days.
Okay.
In the next 30 days, you'll see that.
You heard it here first.
In this quarter, you're gonna hear you'll see the new dreamtrips.com site, and then also I think this bears mentioning that by the end of next month, we're turning back on low-cost carriers. And so, in particular in Asia, this is extremely important for your business. We have all the major carriers now, but the low-cost carriers in your region are extremely important. So we've had to go out, we've had to ink new contracts with a new supplier. That's done now. We're doing the technical integration as we speak. So that is coming back on. Again, it's going to give you tremendous value in our dreamtrips.com platform for booking low-cost carriers. So
fantastic news.
Stay tuned. It's coming.
All right.
Okay. So, Eddie, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What's the plan for Dream Trips Local in Asia?
Expansion, in a word. We're going to bring in more restaurants, more local entertainment providers than ever before, faster than before as well. We've looked at how we expand the capabilities of the team through technology, but also just expanding the team. The fact is that this is a sometimes boots on the ground like effort. Your referrals make all the difference. If you're helping to bring us the best providers of experiences and great food experiences there locally specifically, that helps us more than anything. We are focusing on this as sort of the tip of the spear too from a value perspective in the markets that are emerging. So even before we go into one of these new markets that we're exploring opening in the next year, we're going to try to lay the foundation for DTL, lay the foundation for travel. We see them as complementary components of our membership. You're going to use DTL daily. You're going to use the Dream Trips benefits and those experiences when you go on vacation. So DTL is a centerpiece of our product strategy this year. That's how I would say it's been elevated and important. So stay tuned. You're going to see a lot more activity, and at every major event, we'll have new announcements for you guys on that front.
Good.
Okay.
I do have a question. So
Yes.
we've talked about regionalization. We talked about localization. We talked about making each region be able to stand on its own. And so a big part of that has to do with promotions, right?
That's right.
So specifically with promotions, will Asia be able to come up with its own unique promotions, or will they all have to be the same?
No. This goes right back to the conversation we had at the beginning of this address with you guys. This is about how we globalize our business, how we regionalize our support for you, and use your interests in supporting the business to determine how or guide us strategically back home, and they're locally on the ground as we operationalize it locally. This is a great example. It's all about what works for your audience.
That's right.
We have launched Asia-specific promotions in the past. We've launched global promotions in the past. I think that the story going forward is going to be, what does the customer need? What is driving your business? And if it works for you in a way that it doesn't support other regions of the world, that's okay. For us, that works. We're happy to do so. And so we're kind of taking off the governor, if you will, for each of the regional executives who are going to be leading businesses there and across the planet to really determine, with your cooperation, your input, what's going to work for your representative. So if you've got some bright ideas, share them. And our expectation is that this is going to be followed by a lot of energetic conversation with you to determine exactly what you need now to propel the business forward.
That's right.
So Josh, these were the top questions, the top concerns that they shared with us. But one of the last things that was said was just, in summary, what is it that we need to do to support the Asia business from the ground perspective? What would our Asian audience need to do to help us be more successful in driving their business forward and creating a more sustainable platform for Asia?
Companies of excellence communicate well, right? And so my ask, my specific, if I had to boil it down to one thing, it would be just communicate. And sometimes people say, well, yeah, but I tried in the past, it didn't work, and I can't speak about the past. I don't know. What I can tell you is that we want to communicate. We want to communicate with excellence. We want to be responsive to you, and responsive to your needs. And so keep the communication coming to us and show us what's working, show us what's not working. This has been a very productive relationship. We want to continue to enhance and build upon it. And then the other thing is just, as companies are pivoting, and this is kind of my specialty. I come into companies and I help them unlock the next phase of growth. And a lot of times they think that's something new. And then the reality is, usually unlocking that growth, there are some new things you need to do, like communicate better. But the other thing is about going back to basics. Never forgetting what got you here. Never forget that, hey, yeah, we have all this other stuff, but we're a travel company. We love
Our
travel
core product
experiences.
is amazing.
So let's never lose that. And then it's about building your business, man. The 3 a day. That worked. There's a reason why we got to this level, because people went out there and they did the basics. They did their 3 a day. And sometimes you progress and you forget the basics. So, my ask is really twofold. Go back to the basics. Don't forget who we are and communicate with excellence.
I agree with all that you said. In fact, I would maybe take the whole communication thing one step further and say that it's about partnership with you.
Yes.
We're dedicating these resources to help reveal what we don't know. And we're not going to know unless we're better at communicating with you, and vice versa.
That's right.
So don't be bashful. Come to us and bring us your challenges and your aspirations, your goals. The things that you're inspired to share with us are going to inspire us to greatness as well. So, embrace this new partnership and the new paradigm we've created internally to support Asia from Asia.
That's right. Yeah, use your IMDs, communicate with them. We have such a great existing structure to communicate. The only thing I'll caution is that sometimes everyone reaches out directly to us, and there's just 2 of us.
Yeah.
But reach out to your IMDs.
We're going to have channels for that.
We have channels for that.
That's right.
And help us get to the next level, right? This is not something we're doing. This is something we're doing. We're building this thing together. We're so grateful for you. We're so grateful for the work that you and your families do to help build this amazing company and amazing family. We are a family together, and we're excited to be with you in Penang here in just a few days. So thanks for taking time to talk to us.
And a belated Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you in Penang.
See you soon.